Hey everyone, I'm the 13th Wolfman. Welcome to Sit Down. Today we have with us Chris Seaver. You might know him from Sex Squatch, uh, Geek War, among other films. Chris,
Probably
welcome to Sit
teenage.
Down.
Hello, thank you.
Teenage.
Yeah,
I kind of
probably.
blanked. I kind of blanked on that one for a second there. I
It's
knew
all
it, but it's, you
he
know,
deserves it. What's up?
not much. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. Thank you. This
So
is
I,
good.
I
This is exciting.
yeah, so as we were talking behind the scenes, you were saying that there's a theater up there that shows 35 millimeter prints of classic films.
Yes. Yes. Not like I mean they'll show all range of films, mostly stuff that I don't care about seeing. Um, but occasionally they'll do some really cool genre stuff. Actually about an hour away in Syracuse, New York. There's this theater called the Palace Theater, and it's these shows are put on by this guy named Jeff Meyer, and he puts on some amazing, like really great genre movies, like all the time, and I can never go. It pisses me off. I can never go. There's something coming up that he does every year where it's this 24-hour like horror marathon,
Oh, that sounds nice.
and he gets some amazing 35 millimeter films. And this one coming up in 2015 is amazing, but I'll be on my honeymoon, and I've missed like every other year.
So honeymoon in Syracuse, man.
Well, no, well, I'll be in my honey. Yeah, no, I'll be in California. Actually, I'll be at the Star Wars celebration. That's where we're going for our honeymoon
Oh
in
well,
Anaheim.
there you go. So what's he have? I mean that's so.
He's got like for this one, I know he's got Big Trouble in Little China. Um,
eh,
geez, there's a bunch of. He's got Poltergeist. He's got here. Maybe I can put up a list here. He's got a lot of great ones
yeah.
that made me weep. Uh,
Oh yeah, it's
oh,
kind of cool.
he's got Creep Show. He's got Demons 2, um, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Clockwork Orange, Beetlejuice, um, a 35 millimeter print of the Peter Cushing Doctor Who and the Daleks,
Okay.
which is crazy. I mean, it's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, with the exception of the Peter Cushing one and Clockwork Orange, I've seen them all in the theater. You know, but yeah, that sounds awesome. So, when did you first get into film? What really cast a shadow on you to go into making movies?
Um, well, I mean, I've went over this several times before throughout the years. I'll try to shorten it so it's not so long-winded. Uh,
Okay, whatever works for you, though, man.
it
I mean,
basically came down to uh, my mother taking me to see Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 7. That was 1984,
yep.
um, and I like wanted to make a movie after that. I don't know why, because prior to that, I was a Star Wars kid. You know, I was into Star Wars. I was into Transformers. I was into Indiana Jones and all that stuff, and I really didn't even like have any exposure to horror. Um, occasionally they would sort of like have stuff on TV, like Creep Show, and like I remember vividly Creep Show and freaking me out and all that stuff before I saw Nightmare on Elm Street. But so I don't know why that movie like made me say, "Hey, I want to do this." So that Christmas, I got a video camera from my grandparents, and I just started making backyard movies with my friends. They were mostly like Freddy and Jason films, but they were goofy. You know, we were kids, and but that's really, that really started my love of horror and uh, wanting to make movies. So
Yeah, it's always that one movie that just kind of gets you, isn't it? I mean, I honestly I've been watching horror since I was 5. I've told this story before. My mom, much like you, my mom is a horror fan, and so she started me out on all the Universal stuff. And then got into the Hammer and Night of the Living Dead. And I saw The Exorcist in the theater when it came out. You know, uh, because of my mom, and it just it's really weird how some people can just say, "Well, I'm a film fan," but we're horror fans. We don't know what it is, but there's something in that just it just it eats away at us on the inside. You just gotta love it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love horror, but I mean, I love science fiction, I love fantasy, I love comic books, I love all that stuff. But horror is like near and dear to my heart, and like I could never make like serious horror. There's no way I could ever do it. That's just not who I am. But I love watching it. I
Yeah.
love getting into it, and if if we're lucky nowadays, I like getting scared. But that's few and far between nowadays.
What's the one movie that scared you?
I mean, as a kid, or because they all did, but I still loved them. But
Oh,
as an
okay.
adult, as an adult, there's one movie that still kind of freaks me out, and I have to watch with the lights on. And that's The Beyond by
Oh, the Fulci film.
yeah, and I love the movie. I love it. It is my
I,
fa- it is my favorite Fulci movie. But to this day, it freaks me out, and I can't like I just can't. I couldn't be. I can't be alone when I'm watching it
no,
because I'm always like
yeah,
something about the sound effects, the atmosphere, the music. It's just creepy as hell, and that's the movie that I can think of that like actually creeps me out. It's
yeah. When I've only been scared by one movie ever, and that's Race with the Devil.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I've said this. This is another story I told before. It's basically because of where I lived and what the movie was. It was all based around Satanists, and where I lived, there was a rumor that Satanists would party and do stuff out in the woods near my house.
Yeah,
So it freaked me out, you know. And so when it first came out on DVD, I ran out, I bought it to watch this movie again to see if it still has that creepy factor going for it. So I know what you're talking about. Even when you're older, it's like you still got that little creep factor.
yeah,
I love that Fulci film. You see that Grindhouse releasing is going to put out a special edition.
yeah. But I already have the Arrow Blu-ray
Uh, I
uh,
see. I don't have that.
from
So
overseas, so I
yeah.
don't know if it has to be like I'd have to see something really special in that release for me to double dip.
No, no, yeah. The cover art though looks great right now.
Yeah,
I love the Beyond. But I think my favorite Fulci film is The House by the Cemetery.
I like that too.
You know,
They're all creepy, but but the Beyond
yeah.
really like I don't know, it really gets under my skin. So
But that's cool. It's cool when you can have a movie that just still gets at you all those years.
and it's funny, like everyone, like all my friends who are also into this and everything, and they're just like, "What? The Beyond? Come on! Like what?" We've watched it together, and they've like all like sort of poked fun at me while
Like
we're
picking
watching
on you.
it.
Yeah. Hey, I know people that were creeped out by that little clown doll in Poltergeist. You know,
Yeah, I can see that. I don't have a clown thing. I
neither
know this,
do I.
so it doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah, I look at clowns and go, "Hey, they're just happy
I love
people."
Poltergeist, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So, what's your next movie that you're working on?
Well, actually, we're doing this Christmas short that's going to be a part of an anthology coming out from Todd Sheets, who is also a legend in the underground filmmaking arena. It's called Sleepless Nights, and I was asked to be a part of it, and so we're doing this Christmas short called A Stoink Mare Before Christmas, and a stoink is referring to this film I did called Stoinky Beach, and these group of bros who hang out at Stoinky Beach. That everything is stoinky, so they're a part of this Stoink Mare Before Christmas. So it's this really weird, messed up, funky, odd, gross little short we're doing for this Sleepless Nights anthology, and we're doing that. Like people start arriving December 4th. So
Oh wow! So next weekend.
yeah, we'll do that, and then we won't do another feature until next summer for the Weirdsies. We're doing this movie called the Weirdsies. Um, but and I just finished Evil Night, which is my 62nd film.
Yeah, you have a crazy credit list when it comes down to. That's a lot of movies, man.
Yeah,
Eh,
and I like
no,
about a handful of them. I like maybe five.
yeah, you're your own worst critic, you know. So
Well, I think many people would agree. But yeah, yeah,
anthologies are becoming a little more popular nowadays.
yeah,
I'm seeing a lot more anthologies coming out. I just saw Brain Dead, or not Brain Dead, Brain Damage films just released like two different anthologies.
Oh, yeah. I don't
You
know. Well,
know,
I mean, when they're done right, it's awesome.
yeah,
Like the Creep Show or Trick or Treat. Um,
Trick or Treat is awesome.
oh, it is a modern classic now. I believe. I love it.
Yeah, looking forward to the second one.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, no, you can say hell, dude. That's we're all adults.
And then I also worked on High Eight, which was
I
just
still need to
released.
see that. Been wanting to see that movie.
The DVD comes out December 16th, but the VHS is out. Like there's a limited edition VHS of it.
That's the other crazy thing that's been going on for a while now, where people are releasing movies on VHS again.
Yep, yep. For those hardcore hipsters.
I guess I just when DVD first came out, and you could like look at the difference between the picture quality. I'm like, why would anybody go back to VHS? I mean, I know it's kind of a cool packaging thing, but
I think it's all nostalgia.
yeah,
And and really just some of it is a hipster movement. Some of it is like you know this is the way that you gotta see this film. It's raw and it's gritty, and this is the way it was meant to be seen on a VHS. And
yeah,
they're 20 years old and they don't know what they're talking about. But whatever. I mean, it's
yeah, but I don't see Metallica releasing the Black album on 8-track.
give us some time. Give us some time. There's legitimate people out there who collect it just to collect it because they're cool. The
Yeah,
packaging's cool, and I think that's why I hang on to some of the ones that I have, and certainly why Warlock put out like VHS, just for the cool clamshell packaging and different art and whatnot. But I mean, I don't watch the VHS. I don't
yeah.
watch.
I mean, I know that the VHS that I still have, some of them, I have them because they're not released on DVD. They're not released on
Yes.
Blu-ray.
Yeah, some
You
of them.
know,
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's a good thing to do. Is to hang on to the stuff that isn't out yet on any other format. And I,
it,
you know, I'm
it
all.
seems like, yeah, but it seems like a lot of the stuff is getting. I mean, we're finally getting like Killer Clowns from Outer Space on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
They're finally throwing some stuff up there on the high def that we definitely deserve.
One of these days it'll all be out. I
I
mean,
don't see that ever happening, but I
they
wish it would.
they put some really shitty stuff out. So, like, I can't. I don't understand how like they determine.
It's all rights, dude.
Let's put
It's
this
it,
out as opposed to this, and I don't know.
it's all rights. I mean, if they don't have all the music rights for some stuff, they won't put it out. And if they can't find there's some movies I know that don't come out because they can't find the people that own them. So that sounds awesome. You're doing an anthology. So is it going to be like a 3-movie, 4-movie, or 3-story, 4? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know how many. Todd just asked, and I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll do it." So I don't know. Probably 4 or 5, I would think.
I also know that in your Geek War, right?
Yes.
I know that Paco did a song for it.
Um, I put I've put Kevin's stuff in a few movies. Yeah, it was in a Troma movie that we did back in 2009. Um, it is in Geek War, which was shot in 2010. But I was able to re-edit the film for the 2014 release, and that's when I put the music in. But yeah, I mean, it shows up in a few spots. Yeah,
That
I know Troma like reused the music like over and over and over again.
really?
Yeah.
So you're a member of the Trauma Factory? That's where you came from?
No,
No?
people people think that, but no, no. I had a relationship with Troma for about 10 years. I never worked with Troma. I mean, never for Troma. Like I was never working for Troma. I worked
Okay.
with Troma on things. They helped me with my movies. I helped them with their stuff. You know, shooting things for them, playing characters, whatnot, this and that. You know, just odds and ends, and just I had a general good relationship with Troma for about 10 years, and that ended in 2009. And that's all you got to say about that.
Two
Not a
words,
fan of
Lloyd
Troma
Kaufman.
now. So.
No, that's hey, I don't want to get into anything anything more than that. That's cool. No, yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking I grew up watching Trauma,
Mhm.
stuff
Yeah,
like Surf Nazis Must Die, you know.
yeah. I mean, it was the Toxic Avenger and Bad Taste in '89. I rented those movies. We had a place called Video Connection in Wellsville, New York, where I grew up. And it was 1989, and I think that is those two movies. After watching them, I think those movies shaped sort of what I was going to do in the future, as far as the offbeat, weird comedy and the horror stuff. Um, because up to that point, I had never seen anything like that. It was 1989, and I had seen, obviously, I had seen Night
Yeah,
of the Creeps and Fright Night and things like that were fun, but not as overtly goofy and wild as these two movies were.
right.
And that's the stuff that I wanted to do, and sort of that put me on the path to the weird offbeat comedy stuff. And I had already been a fan of Monty Python as well, because my mom and my uncles sort of pushed that down my throat, as well as the Zucker brothers. Like
Oh,
I always cite Monty Python and the Zucker brothers as my early like comedy influence, because that's all I saw. That's I was always like
well,
bombarded with stuff.
yeah. If you're a child, not child, but if you were like a yeah, I guess a younger person of the '80s, I mean, Airplane played like every day on cable.
Yeah, no,
You know,
I'm
I mean,
Airplane is Airplane is my favorite comedy of all time. There's a lot of great comedies out there, but that one is the top of my list. And I, no matter how many times I've seen it, I still laugh like
uh,
it's the first time watching.
oh, I know. How many? Today was like today was the wrong day to stop sniffing glue.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
I don't know how many times I've seen that movie. It is my favorite comedy for sure. Um,
Well, yeah, you brought up the Zuckers, so I mean that movie put them on the map.
oh yeah, yeah. But I, you know, and I like most of their parody stuff, their satire stuff.
Yeah,
Their you know, Kentucky Fried Movie is good, and you know, um, and then with John Landis and those and the other and Joe Dante and they did Amazon Women on the Moon, and it's that type of weird,
yeah,
offbeat, absurdist humor that I love so much. And like later, you know, in the '90s, it was Mr. Show and Strangers with Candy and things like that. That the
kids in
State,
the
yeah,
kids in
Kids
the
in the
hall.
Hall. But like that's the stuff that I love to do, and that's my favorite comedy. Is just the outlandish, absurd comedy. So
Well, yeah, you look back at the '80s though, man. I mean, there were like the most absurd ideas for movies. I mean, it's hilarious.
and I still and like
But they were good.
Anyone who knows me knows that I am a unabashed lover of the 1980s, and it's a decade that I never want to let go of. It was my favorite time being a human being.
I know
um,
the feeling, yeah.
and the movies and the music for me were the best. And
Yeah.
everything that I do now is informed by the 1980s. And we always joke around here about like, man, they don't make them like this, anymore. Like you can't get away with Teen Wolf these days,
No, you got to completely change the thing and put it on MTV.
which is bullshit. And
It,
that's why I make the movies that I make, that I like
yeah.
making, because I don't care. This is what I think is funny. So I'm gonna make Ski Wolf. I'm gonna make things like that.
I
So,
loved Ski Wolf.
oh yeah, you watched it?
Yeah, I did watch. I loved that. That was like a favorite when it came out.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah.
I hated it when I made it,
Why?
but now I like it. But man, when I made it, I hated it. And
I
actually, the first commentary that we recorded for that movie, we tore the shit out of it, and um, the distributor wouldn't let us put that commentary on there.
yeah. Who was
So
the distributor for that back
it
then?
was SRS Cinema.
Oh, that's
So,
right.
so we had to do another one, which wasn't, bashing the film. And, but after seeing it with like, because like a lot of the movies will premiere at like conventions and little festivals and things like that. So after seeing the movies with audiences and seeing that like, okay, it is
How
hitting, yeah, it's
how it's
working.
accepted or how it's not accepted.
Then I'm like, all right, you know, you know,
They get it.
I half did make it for these people, so that's good.
Yeah,
But
I remember when Ski Wolf came out, and I was like, I remember thinking to myself, going, he gets it. Chris Seaver gets it, man. I mean, it is Teen Wolf on skis. You
it,
know, it's everything that the '80s was. You know, it's just a fun time. And honestly, dude, Night of the Creeps, Night of the Comet, Chopping Mall.
yeah,
Chopping Mall is an all-time favorite movie of mine, but it's so absurd.
yeah, man. But
It's
I
the
mean,
'80s,
but you
exactly.
but you had A-list movies like that were big, that were
They were
absurd.
big,
Huh?
yeah.
It was crazy to me.
It
But
just,
that's
oh,
what it
hey,
was. That's just what it
here's
was.
here's three security robots. They get hit by lightning. Now they start killing everyone. There you go. That's they can't make that movie today. It's got to be. Here's a laptop, and we got all the plans here, and some virus, and if they don't do it in like 36 hours, the whole world explodes.
Yeah. Well, everything has to be analyzed and overanalyzed and explained and overexplained. It's just, there's not a lot of fun
No,
in today's cinema. To me, they're just nobody is really. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy to me was a total like '80s throwback because it was just fun, adventure, science fiction, goofy, crazy. I thought it was fantastic, and it gave me that feeling of the stupid movies of the '80s.
oh, exactly, dude.
Oh,
Well, I see that we're running into the live show, so I'm gonna have to cut it short. That's okay.
it's all right. We'll
I
be
mean,
talking.
well, we'll talk on the live show. I just want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for
You
having me.
know, and you're welcome back, man. I love this. You just sit down and talk with a fan.
I love geeking out. So,
Yeah. So, is there anything do you want to plug a website or,
you can go to warlockhomevideo.com. We have a sale going on right now. It's a Christmas sale. You can get a whole bunch of stuff for only $55, including the brand new Evil Knight Blu-ray, which was sold out, but we have more now. And that's packed, and it's a 4K feature. It's a beautiful feature. So, yeah, rock and roll.
all right. From Chris Seaver's mouth to your ears, I'm the 13th Wolfman, and I'm on the prowl.
Ow!